Hey everyone, Marcy here, and today I am wanting to work on a little project. I need to make some journal cards, and I'm wanting to make them the double journal card style, the ones that have like two, that fold in half, essentially like a typical greeting card. Well, today's video is loosely inspired by a video that I saw done by Charlotte Peterson, and I will link it down below, but as you watch mine and then you go to watch hers, you'll see that I'm definitely not doing everything that she did, but the parts that I liked from her video that I'm taking away and building on are that she used an index card and that she did the collaging, and I liked how she did the hinging of the two cards. So she added some pockets and stuff to hers that I'm not going to do today, but I am needing to get some collaged index cards made up. So that's what we're going to work on. I'm only going to do a couple of them because then I want to be able to decorate towards the end. Before we get started though, I want to thank a few people. First of all, I want to say thank you to Peggy and Izzy for visiting my Ko-fi site and supporting my channel. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support and your thoughtfulness, and your contributions are greatly appreciated. I also want to say thank you to Jen for giving me a super thanks here on YouTube. So thank you, Jen. You said it was for thrifting change and I've already spent it. Thank you so much. But she supported my channel by giving through a super thanks down below, which is where you see the little heart with the $sign. And I would also like to thank those who are following me over on my Ko-fi site. When you pull up my site, which is linked down below by the way, underneath the banner is a little spot, and I'm trying to do this from memory because it doesn't look the same to me when I look on my page, but right underneath the banner where it says my name of my Ko-fi shop, there's a little circle with like a head in it, the outline of a head, and if you click on that, that's like following me, just like giving me a heart on Etsy, or clicking the notification bell here and also doing the subscribe button. They're all very similar. So if you click on that little button that has the outline of a person's head, then that has you follow me on my Ko-fi site, and then when I upload things, I have been doing some work, and I will talk to you more about that a little bit down the road. I am working on that site, so I will let you know more about that in another video. Now that we have ourselves ready to go and we know what we're going to work on, meet me right back here and we will get started. So what we're doing today is we are making some journal cards that are hinged, and she made them with index cards. Now, Charlotte was doing a series on her channel a couple years ago where she was doing a weekly project using an index card. I liked this idea because the index card allows you to do journaling lines on the back. So she took two, and these are roughly 4 by 6. And then she hinged them, but the way she did it, because you're going to want your journaling lines to be to the outside or on the back side, so that when you lift it up, there's space to journal here and space to journal here. So I started with them upright this way, but I have turned them so that the end, this top border line is over to the right, and then I just I flipped it 180 degrees so that when you lay it down, you can always just test it out, open it up, and see if you have your journal lines where you want them to be. And I do. So the next thing she did was she took a paper hinge. This one that I am using is from a book. I had taken out the signatures, and so this is just where 2 pages were hinged together. It's very handy. And we're just going to measure this really quick and snip it off. And then I'm going to grab 2 more and do the same thing with another piece of paper here. So again, we want that one up, and we want, let's see. See, I've already confused myself. So I want them both to go that way. Okay. And then this is just a leftover strip of coffee dyed graph paper. So I've just folded it in half, I'm going to trim it to the size first that I want for the card, and then I'm just going to trim down the width because you don't need it to be super wide. You only need about a 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch strip of paper in the first place, and then just trim it down so it's about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch when you fold it in half. Okay, and it doesn't really matter what these look like because they're going to get covered up by some collaging anyway. So there's that one, and here's this one. Okay, so the way she did this was she collaged essentially to the top side of both cards, if that makes sense. Just I'll just show you. I can probably show you easier than I can explain it. She glued it on there so that the hinge is going to be hidden by the collage, which I thought was clever because sometimes the hinges show. Let's see. Make sure I'm, oh, see I'm way off base there. This is my hardest part, is lining up creases and things and getting them just right. So I'm gonna hold it up so I can see that my edges are flush. There we go. Because you don't want this edge popping over the edge of the index card, the crease. The crease in your paper should not go past the edge of your index card. There we go. There's that side. And then she glued it. So this is the journaling card side, but she glued it so it was also glued to the top side, the blank side here. Okay? So we're going to do that. If I can get the glue out. Uh-oh. Looks like it got stuck. Oh, remember in one of my videos where I was telling you guys that some of the difficulties with these and not being able to find stainless steel pins very well? Well, I went over to Scrapbooking with Me. I went to their, I was watching one of Edith's videos, I think. So I went over to their store to just check things out, and I got a couple of things. And then they had these little packages, can't get the glue to come out. Had these little packages of stainless steel pins for your glue bottles. So I bought one. I was like, oh, this is great. I only need 5. So I bought one, a pack of 5, and then when I got my order and I went to put it away, turns out I had already ordered one before. So I actually now have 10 stainless steel pins in my stash for my glue bottles. Yeah, I cannot believe I did that. I mean, I kind of can, but I really can't because I had no recollection of purchasing, which is why we don't buy things late at night on the internet when you have no decision-making capabilities and no memory of the transaction. But must have been what happened. Okay, so here we are. There's that hinge here, and then I'm going to go ahead and quickly glue this one as well. I really want my glue bottle to work though. It's easier if the art glitter glue will come out. So I'm looking forward to using up all of my art glitter glue so I can try out the Barely Arts glue, which I understand also does fabric. I went to their website. Somebody recommended that in the comments, and so I went to their website to check it out, and it said it does fabric too. So that'd be cool because then I could replace Fabri-Tac and art glitter glue, or the other one that I use, the Aleene's tacky glue, with just one. And then it would, you know, it has all the same properties other than it doesn't seem to be affected by temperature like the art glitter glue is, and it does the fabric. There was something else. Oh, you can use it really well on vellum. It doesn't show up when you glue vellum. It doesn't leave marks. So that's handy too, because the art glitter glue and some of the other glues make the vellum warp, or when it dries it shows through the vellum so you can see the glue. Okay, let's just try to make sure that that was not popping up above the edge of my index card. Ooh, I have my window open. Can you hear that loud car? Oops, am I doing that right? Hold on. Nope, I'm gluing the wrong side. I'm using a wet one there to wipe it off. Dry one to dry it. There we go. That was a good save. That would have been sad. Trying to make sure I'm in frame. This isn't even the hard part, and I've made it look 10 times harder than it actually is. There we go. So I've got that one hinged. Make sure that there's a little bit of wet glue right there. I don't want that gluing my card shut. Okay, so that was the easy part. Hinge it. Hinge it so that your journal lines on the back side, I better go that way. I did that. Wait a minute. Did I do that backward now after all that? Goodness, this wasn't supposed to be that confusing. Okay, yeah, I glued this one, the lines to the inside instead of to the outside edge. But anyway, you get the gist. Glue the blank side, glue your lines on the inside. I don't think, I suppose I could make it left opening, but you don't really open a card from the left-hand side. That's just weird. Yep, we'll leave it as it is. Okay. What do we always say? There are no mistakes in a junk journal. But clearly there are, because I just made one. However, you can usually fix them pretty easily. Okay, so the next thing she did, and she used very large pieces. She was using scraps, so this is a terrific little scrap buster. And she just started collaging. When you lay down your pieces for your collage, you don't want to go over this crease. You don't want to go past the edge, especially to the inside here. You don't want to go past the crease because otherwise it won't fold properly. So here's my top edge. Got all kinds of scraps. Some of these may look very familiar to you because I really want them all gone. So, conversation. Let's talk about stuff. What do we want to talk about? Well, you know, I had talked about Easter last time. I had forgotten to mention that my mom had her birthday last week. So the day after Easter was her birthday, number 79. So we went to dinner and had her birthday, which was nice. This is our busy time every year with all the birthdays. Our anniversary's coming up next week. And yeah, just always a lot happening in the spring. Also have, my mom's birthday is April 10th, and now I have a niece whose birthday is April 8th, and I also have a nephew whose birthday is April 13th, so they bookend her. There's that. Let's see, let's use up some of this. Well, that's too matchy-matchy, isn't it? I don't want matchy-matchy. I want pretty, but not matchy-matchy. Let's see. Let's try some of this. Let's use the ruler. And then I probably need a neutral piece like music or something under there as well. So let's grab a piece of music, this really soft page. Do it like that. And we don't want our edges to line up exactly straight because then it doesn't look collaged. So I want this part that shows more of the actual music score though, and not broken up. See how it's like the end of this song and then a title. I just want notes. So we'll tear it down so all you see is notes. And then we'll tear it down to fit. Oh, look, and there's a number. Nice. It's a pretty simple project. I just need to make a few of these. Okay. I wish I could run these through like an embossing folder or something, but let's see, I want the music underneath. I'm going to move that. That almost rolled off the table just now. I want the music underneath the paper. All right, yeah, so we had Mom's birthday on Monday. So I think I had mentioned last time, Camille and Jonathan, with all their church stuff that they do with the music and everything, pretty busy. And then they were going to have Easter with his family. I'm just going to wrap this around because it's going to get covered up anyway. Easter with his family. So we didn't have them for Easter, but we had Jonathan over on Friday when Katie and Sam were in town, and they wanted a little get together. And then we were seeing each other all on Monday. So we just kind of made that kind of sort of like Easter, but not really. Anyway, so that was fun. We went out to a place called the Longhorn and had steak and stuff. Very tasty. That day it was 80 degrees out, and it had been, so the day before was Easter and it was barely in the 60s, and the day before that it was like in the 40s. So the weather is just playing games with all of us right now. See, this is the top edge, so yeah, it can't make up its mind, but because of that 80-degree day, it was only forecast to be like 71, and it wound up getting a lot warmer. But because of that, my roses decided maybe it is time to get going and potentially bloom. So now I have to go out and cut those roses back now because they've started getting little leaves. And I know there's like a very short window of time. So maybe, I'm filming this on a Saturday, so maybe we can get out there and do that today. That would be nice. These are not lining up straight, which makes it hard for me to tell if my edge is straight down there. There we go. I did want some of this though. Still not straight. Can't find my bone folder off the top of my head here. Should be, there it is. I just want to crease that really nicely so that it lays correctly. There we go. You guys remember this one? Yeah, so do you guys have lots of yard work to do? Are you getting in the swing of things? Is it finally warmish somewhere in the world? Doesn't need to be hot. Just needs to not be winter. I don't know, because boy, it was 80 degrees on Monday, and then the next day it decided to only be 50, and it was gray and cloudy. It didn't really rain on us, but winter is just being naughty this year. Hanging on when it shouldn't, refusing to leave. Usually I try to plant just a little garden, you know, and I think I mentioned that I love to grow herbs, but this year I'm gonna just not worry about it. I'm not gonna fret over my tomatoes. I'm not gonna do any of it, but I am gonna reorganize how everything is situated out in the garden. I need to reorganize the beds because they, oh, see, that's gonna match up too much and I don't like all that white. Let's try another one. I need to move everything around because when I originally planted my garden, you know, the shading was different and there's a tree back there, but now it's gotten bigger. So now the shade's in a different spot and the sun's in a different spot and all of that. So I had planned them out a certain way, but now I have to move everything around. So I'm just gonna move my herbs to the smaller bed and move the blueberries closer to each other because I'm still trying to be a successful blueberry farmer. Let me tell you, I've gotten a few. I got a few last year finally. And it's been a several year long process because I didn't know at first that the blueberry needed a friend. So he needed a friend, and then I got the friend, and then we were having other stuff going on in the yard, so I didn't get it in the ground. He was in a pot for like a year. I put it in the garage for the winter and everything anyway, and then for Mother's Day in 2019, I was like, dudes, we got to get this yard squared away. I have a husband and 2 hefty sons-in-law. That's what I want for Mother's Day, is to get, you know, get some old stuff dug out and get everything smoothed out and the rock put back. And anyway, so that's what we did. And then my one son-in-law, his mom said, that was so clever of you to get them to do yard work for Mother's Day. I was like, that's what I wanted. I wanted my yard done. I wasn't trying to be sneaky, just trying to take advantage of the manpower. So yeah, that was quite a busy time. Let's see, I've got some smaller pieces. Well, that's not very small, is it? Got some smaller ones here I think I'd like to use up. Well, I don't think I'd like to use them up. I know I'd like to use them up. So let's get out these littler squares. Let's see what I can do with them. Like I said, you're gonna probably recognize these. So okay, let's put this one down. Get this done as quickly as possible. See, this little piece here kind of has a border on it naturally, so I kind of want that to an outside edge. Is that wide enough? No, not quite. That's a bummer. I wish it was. This one is. Now you'll notice I'm not inking. You totally could ink all of these pieces. You can ink around the outside edge if you'd like, which I may end up, when I'm all done, I may go around the outside edges with ink because it just catches all the little spots where maybe the paper didn't quite get to the edge or whatever. So remembering here that we want to be just right inside that fold line with the paper. We don't want it to overlap the crease. So. Also, that made it very noticeably obvious that this was not straight. There we go. And then what else can I put along the top? I want some pinkish color, I think. But I don't want it to be too close to my other pink color. What about this one? That'd be cute in there? Sure. Now I've lost my ruler because it's buried. I'm making a mess. And I should actually trim that one down too. Yeah, so now that our trip over to Vancouver is done, now we can focus on our trip to Alaska, our cruise. I can only focus on one thing at a time. So when I tell you what, it's with Holland America, and so you may sign up to get updates, or you might, decide to get that app or whatever. But boy, be prepared to be pestered a lot with information and more offers. And what they like to do is get you to go on their cruise and then upsell you to the next cruise. And then they offer all these incentives and discounts, but I don't necessarily need to go on a cruise every 5 minutes, so I don't. I just get annoyed. So I was like, as soon as this thing is over, I'm unsubscribing from all the emails and deleting the app, because is it really necessary to send a notice 3 to 4 times a day of something? No, just no, it's not. It's harassment. Well, that is not trimming straight. I use the littler scissors because they don't, you know, things don't stick to them, but the bigger ones are better for a long edge when you have a long piece to trim. But then things, uh-oh, see, I'm not doing a very good job. Let me run that through the trimmer. Which means I'm gonna have to do both sides so they're even. This is not as square as I'd like it to be, unfortunately. Don't quite know how that happened, but oh well. There we go. Haha. Can't really tell. Okay, so that's the outside. Nope, that was the outside. Here's the inside. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's just not quite square. Annoying. Here we go. Okay, so there's one. Let's do this one. And I'm feeling partial to these butterflies here. Let's do these here. Oh wow, it's a rather large piece, isn't it? Let's tear it down right there. And I'm thinking I'd like a piece of this here. Maybe let's do that on the outside edge and do this one here that kind of looks like strips of fabric. Do that one to the inside. Actually, I should do the straight edges up and down. Okay, and then again, we don't want these, I mean, here's the thing. You don't want all your edges to be straight, just like that, and line up because it looks weird. But if you have too many edges, I think what I'll do is do it like that. If you have too many corners like kind of all coming together in a certain spot, then you want that to become, you want to cover that over like with a focal point or another piece of something. I hope I'm straight. Good enough. Put those back over there. I'm getting all these teeny tiny pieces, so I'm gonna have to go do something with tiny pieces. Go collage with little small pieces, you know. I do owe you guys an apology because in one of my prior videos, I think it was the last haul video, and I said I was gonna go add stuff to my Etsy shop, and then I just ran out of time and didn't do it. So I will get those up by the end of the week. There were some decorative edge scissors, and then there were some like little ephemera, like plant information cards that you can use as ephemera in your journals. And I can't remember the other thing, but anyway, I had said I would get those right in there, and then I didn't because I was trying to pre-record and go on our trip and stuff. So I don't mean to be disingenuous. Okay, now this one I'm going to lay down first because that really torn edge is really white, and I think I would prefer to cover that up with this one. So that's why I'm doing that. Otherwise I probably wouldn't care one way or the other. Really surprised at, pleasantly surprised at how well this glue actually sticks for collage. Let's see, which way was it? That way. It really does a good job holding everything down. I'm impressed. And those are the ones that are always on sale. Always on sale when it's back to school time. I was gonna pull that one down further, but then I didn't. Okay, well. Que sera, sera. Oh, I just see my mistake. See, I folded this over, but this was the writing side. That didn't need to be folded over. So, I can leave it. I could cover it with washi tape. I don't know yet. And my glue stick decided to... Okay, so we have both of these done. Let's scoot some of this out of the way. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's what we are starting with our journaling lines inside. These are curling. Okay, so the first thing she did, she put pockets, Charlotte did. She put a couple of different pockets that ran across here and stuffed them. I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna just decorate the front. She also put a pocket in this way, and I will do that. So I thought I had some that were a little bit thicker here. Oh, that's all paper. Thought I had some that were more like cardstock. Let me go back in here. This one's a little bit thicker. That would make a nice pocket on one of these, I think. Let's see, looking at maybe that one. Actually, it could go like that because it's almost exactly the right width. Look at that. Okay, so she did that. And then, let's see. That one would work. Okay, so let's do that one in here. And this one in here, or just just to be sure. Yeah, no, I like it. I like the first idea. Okay, so we're gonna do that really quick. So since these are 4 inches wide, I'm also gonna trim this down because I see that that's a little bit jagged along there. Try not to cut my index card. Okay. And the easiest way, I mean, you could get out your ruler and all that, but really, truly, the easiest way is probably just to mark it, and you can make your pocket as deep or as shallow as you wish. So, this one, it looks like it's going to be about 2.5, let's go down a bit, about 2.5 inches deep. Now I've lost my pencil, there we go. I'm going to mark it here and here. And then on this one, it's almost exactly 4 inches wide. So let's go up a bit and mark it here. Making sure I'm in frame. Boy, just barely. I marked it here and over here. So let me trim those really fast. Actually, this one, it is just a little bit, I mean, it's heavier, but it's not as thick as the other cardstock. So I think I will add a little reinforcement back there. Just the tiniest bit, because when you're pulling things in and out, you don't want it to get, you don't want it to tear. Because once it's down, you can't fix that, you know. Oops, sorry, I hope I didn't get my head in there. I bet I did. I said that on the last video. I hope I didn't get my head in the shot, and I totally did. So, I'm guessing the same is true today. There we go, okay. Let's trim that off. Trim up that edge. There we go. And then this one really fast. And when I trim this for the width, I'm going to go just inside that line because, again, we don't want to run into the crease. I think she made hers something like 3 3/4 inches wide or something, and I just decided to eyeball it. I figured that was good enough. So, which way is up? There we go. So yeah, so it doesn't quite come to the fold again. Hers were a lot straighter than mine, but she'd probably also just made a whole bunch in a row, so, which I have not done yet. You know, I kind of like this as the front better and put this as the inside. So I think I'm going to do that. You can do it. You can change it up if you want. Can totally do that. Okay, and then I'm going to put in the middle, I'm going to punch out a notch, which I thought I had my circle punch out. Apparently I don't. So we're going to use my scallop punch. So now we have one that looks like something bit it. And then the glue cap back on, get this out. The beauty of doing the notch first is that it helps you realize where you don't want to glue, where the top of your piece is, so you don't accidentally glue in the wrong spot. Okay, there's that. Maybe just a skosh more right there. Then, here you go. So this is a hinged journal card made with index cards, or hinged index cards for journaling. I'm trying to figure out how I want to title this. I'm gonna put just a little dab under there because it didn't quite lay down. Under this little piece that's sticking up. Okay, that should help it lay down. I just feel like any ends or things that are flapping around in there will get caught when you're putting stuff in and out of it. Okay, so there's the interior pocket. I am going to go around and ink really fast. And after I put the glue pin back in, the glue bubble. I guess those are pretty easy to make, but they do make your bottles fall over because they're a little top heavy. Okay, so see how the inking just kind of fills in any white edges. So this is actually inside. I should be careful how I'm folding that. And then there we go, outside edge. So I'm going to make a few more of these after I'm off camera, because I like it, but I, only need to make a couple on camera because you get the gist. I should have maybe inked this top edge before I glued it down, but I didn't. I could put a piece of paper in there and do it. Maybe I will. See, so that hinge doesn't really matter at all because it eventually gets completely covered up. Can't even tell it was there, but what it does do is it keeps it from showing, being on top of the part where you want to write. You don't have like a hinge here and a hinge half here. It just keeps it completely hidden, which I did like that idea. Thought that was very smart of her. And this is the one I trimmed a little bit. You can tell it's not straight there now. Okay, Sarah, Sarah. Outside. So I have some flowers and stuff. I've been bravely identifying which books I do want to cut up and which books I'm leaving the pages intact. And so I've been doing that. So I've got flowers and things I've cut out. Also have some seashells, so we'll see how those look. There we go. That gave it just a little bit of color right there. The other one doesn't really need it because it's black, so it does have a little bit of white showing on the edge though. A little bit of a rough edge. There we go. That fixed that. No problem. Okay, so now we have our pockets. We have our outside of our card. So what I'm going to do, let's see, I've got some of those labels I made the other day, but let's figure out first what we might want to put on here. So I just have all kinds of little things. This one looks a little too fall-like for my liking. You see what I'm digging out here? Like, this one's cute. We also need to decorate in here too. See, like that could go there very nicely. I'm not sure that that's a fall-ish spread. With those butterflies, I may have I may have locked myself into something that I didn't really intend to. So here's this. That one might work. I just threw a few in here. There's not very many. This one might be too wide. I could cut off that leaf though. This was cut out of a book. I had ordered just the book pages, so I don't have a ton of them. See, this could also go up the side and I could do a label. Again, I put the flowers here, but then that kind of competes with the focal point, so I might actually want to cover them up a bit. I do kind of like that one on there though. And I think if I trim, I usually trim kind of big until I know how I want to use the piece, and then I can trim it down a little more when I'm ready to use it. Also, sometimes, like I don't go in real deep between the where everything connects, because then when it's laying in your box, it winds up getting all wrinkled and torn sometimes. So I just kind of wait to do a little bit more of the detail cutting out. Now see, isn't that cool? Okay, I think it is. I hope you guys do too. Okay, so I have this cute little bird. It's not big enough. Sorry, I think the head got in there again. I have her. She's cute. She's made out of seashells. And I did cut out a bunch of stuff from a seashell book, but I'm not feeling like either of these are very shell-like. Ow. Okay, so now I got all my little labels here. We can dig through and see. These are all the ones I stamped the other day. But, you know, I have lots more stamping to do if I'm gonna, nope. Might work over here though, because it would stand out better. Maybe like that, maybe? I like that. Oh, maybe like more across there, something. Still thinking, hold on. This one's a little less brown. It's also a little bit lighter. Lighter in weight. That'll work. Shall we do that? What do you guys think? It's always funny because sometimes you can see from up above things that you don't notice when you're just staring at it straight on from here. I need to scoot this down to me a bit though, because I really need to see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna put that up there. I do like all that pretty color. And then this is just a tub full of things that are stamp-ish or stamp-like that I have stamped over time, so they may or may not work. There's a child screaming out there. I can hear them. Here, this one has a butterfly. So I'm just wondering if I want to layer up, and then also I need something on that pocket. This one's just a blank one. And these come from all over. Just whenever I see something that could be a postage stamp kind of thing, that's not an actual postage stamp, because I have a place for those. Then I cut them out and I save them. These little tiny stamps are from a Tim Holtz set. I think it's called Tiny Treasures. I have no idea if you can still get it or not. Let's see, we want to cover that join with that label, I think. Oh, maybe not. I found my pieces. Let's glue. You know, another good source of ephemera pieces, if you don't want to buy packs or you don't even necessarily want to cut out things from books, but maybe if you have a big pile of old greeting cards or whatever, you can cut out the pretty images from those and use them as ephemera, because they are kind of a very lightweight cardstock usually, so they have that feeling. I'm holding this up so I can make sure this printing is, or this handwriting is straight, because that would throw the whole thing off if it wasn't. So that's another way to get pretty images, is just cut up your cards. I remember I had a box of stuff that I had cut out a long time ago for tags, and I thought I would use more of it in these videos, but I haven't yet, so I have to go revisit that box again too. I was planning on using them for the Kathleen Maurer. Oh, I see. This wasn't even a... I was putting that the wrong direction, but that's okay. It works like this too. So there's that. And then on the inside, would that be okay? Yeah, it definitely needs to be with the bigger one to the edge, outside edge, or inside edge, as the case may be, since it's at the fold. Anyway, along the edge. So just different gardening books and botanical books. I was noticing some of my books have like cute little drawings similar to this of different plants and things along the margins, and so those are perfect to cut out or just to punch as shapes for little ephemera. Okay, so if I want that right there, let's mark that. I'm gonna set that over there for a sec. And then we're gonna just quickly find a journal card of some sort to put inside. Something real basic. Are you straight? Oh, no, you are not. Let's peel you off and do this again. It's already like the glue's already too dry. Weird. Actually, I want this part, this corner where I didn't get it stamped as well, I want that to the inside, because that'll get covered up by the plant image. Come on, go straight. Getting my lines and stuff, getting this straightness lined up, you know? Yeah, so it's been a pretty quiet week. It's been very enjoyable with my husband. This has pink edges, but I think I want to darken those up just a bit to blend in better. With him out of the house off and on this week. There we go. Cute little birds. Yeah, this one. And then how are you gonna go? Right there. So let's do that, because I'm gonna have to lay this down first. And what I might do, come on. I may just fold that back enough so that I can cut it off without unsticking the sticker. I don't know if that's gonna make any difference or not, but right along that edge. And then last one here. I swear, I think however they pour the glue into these things, it comes out in layers, and then it's like when you're using your glue stick and it just kind of gets all chunky. I don't think that's us. I don't think that's an us problem. I think that's just the way the glue was added to the tube. Okay, there's that. Maybe I should have inked around that one, but it's got the white, so I feel like it does stand out a bit. But on the other hand, I could go over a little bit, maybe. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job. One nice thing about these distress inks, if you don't like it, you just go over it with a damp rag and either blend it in or wipe it off. Problem solved. Okay, so, you know, I don't think that sticks over enough to worry about, so let's do that. Let's lay that down. I feel like that's all crooked. It is. Gosh. Don't know if I can fix that or not. Now that everybody's all stuck and burnished. No, that sticker does not want to come up. Yeah, what was I going to use for journal cards? Good question. So this one has that for the pocket, but I could use, here it is. I could use this for the, you know, the remaining piece as the journal card in here. That would work. Here. I'm going to mark it from the back. And using my corner rounder. Slide that in there. Is that too tall? And then I think see if there's another pretty stamp in here that I could just put on as a decoration. These also came off of, here's some different ones. They came off of one of those old, like, gift sets that you get in the mail from, like, the Veterans Association or whatever. But then they'll send those stickers. And so I just laid them down on pretty cardstock and cut around them with my scissors. I kind of like that one. Let's do that. So yeah, I made postage stamp looking embellishments here with those stickers from the stationery sets that you get in the mail, and then and my scissors. Let's put you on there just to make it look a little bit pretty. Okay, that's pretty. And then I suppose I could do the opposite. This isn't as tall. I'd like that to be taller. I've got a plain one here. I'll just trim this down a bit. Let's make sure that's not too wide. It's not. I'll trim it right about there. This has just a little bit of a glossy embossed and glittered flower there, so that's, I'm going to put that up so that it shows. And then do I want another one of these butterfly stickers? I mean, I could. It looks kind of big though, truthfully. Okay, I found a couple here, just tiny little, these are from a Tim Holtz ephemera pack or two, somewhere along the line. But these are the little bitty bits that usually I feel like I can never use. But they'll be perfect for this little card. And then I know the numbers are going to go upside down, but I'm trying to cover up that white edge. Don't look too closely. But the pink and the blue pick up the pink and the blue down here. So it's a little bit more simple. It's not as involved. I mean, you could really dress it up, do some background stamping, do other things. You could even stencil on here if you don't want it to be as plain, or run washi tape or anything like that. I'm trying to keep them a little bit simple. So I want them to be easy to like run through the mail and stuff. So here's what we've got. Let's take a look at them again. They are curling up just the easiest bit. I don't recall that Charlotte's did that, and I think I'm gonna have to go back and tack down these little points, but I'll do that later off camera. So here we go. We've hinged 2 index cards to make a double journaling card. Then collaged very simply and quickly, added a pocket inside and a journal card, and then we just decorated them up. They're very eclectic. I like them though. I think they're very cute. I like how that turned out. I probably would not have thought of using 2 index cards. And if you don't have index cards, use up your scraps. Just use a couple of scraps of 4x6, or if you have still Project Life cards, and then you can leave the backs plain if it has a plainer back, and that would be for the writing, or a lot of times the Project Life cards have writing space on the back of them as well. So that's what we did today. And I want to thank Charlotte Peterson for the inspiration. She doesn't know me from anybody else on the street, but for some reason that video came up, so I checked it out, and I really liked what she did. So that is linked below. My coffee shop is linked below if you're interested. I appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me to the end. Remember to give me a thumbs up, share the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider becoming a subscriber. I would absolutely love that. And until next time, everyone, be inspired and do something creative today. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.